Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we are going to talk about Stranger Things Season 2, Episode 6, The Spy. And the spy refers to Will Byers. So Joyce and Jim Hoppers are dealing with Will. He has been possessed at this point by the shadow monster is in him, okay? And he is now, and what we find before the end of the episode is that the shadow monster, everything that Will learns, he knows, right? And so, and actually, Mike Wheeler realizes this while they're at Hawkins' lab, realizes that that Will Byers is a spy for the shadow monster. And also one of the things that we see in this season is that Mike Wheeler is really attached to Will, carefully watching over him, protecting him, trying to maintain their friendship, right? And which is quite touching. Also at this point, and so there's, and then, and at this point, there's a lot of connection between Dr. Owens, who is the lead at the Hawken Lab, and Joyce Byers, who's bringing Will to them to get him fixed. They're not doing a good job of that. And then also Jim Hopper, that's where he's taken, and he's like scrubbed down and like cleaned out from the upside down there. At the same time, Nancy and Jonathan Byer are dealing with Murray Bauman, and at this point, they stay at Murray Bauman's for the night, and in the morning they literally cut the tapes, and they send out I think a dozen to 2 dozen packages to newspapers all over the country, including a tape of Owens confessing to what they're doing there, right? And so essentially Nancy is rolling into her journalist phase and breaking the story. Now she's not actually a journalist yet, but she will become that later in the series, but this is kind of laying the groundwork for that. And Nancy also just refusing to give up, right? Even after her and Jonathan and Steve have been massively threatened by the Hawkins lab. Next, we deal with Dartagnan, right? So at this point, Steve Harrington and Dustin Henderson are literally tracking. They failed to get him in the basement, and they're tracking Dartagnan, and they end up in the junkyard, and they set a trap. And it becomes clear at this point that Dartagnan is so large. Dustin doesn't want to kill him, but he also is beginning to realize, Dartagnan is deadly, right? And so they're going to try to capture him. They might kill him, but they set their space in the junkyard. And Dartagnan actually shows up with other demo dogs. So these demo dogs are growing, and he's now with almost like a wolf pack. And it does seem like D'Artagnan's the alpha. And so then they're closing in, and they actually fight the demo dogs in the junkyard. But before it's all done, the demo dogs are called away, right? And now where are they called away to? Well, they're actually called away to where Owens has set his team. And where Owens has set his team is, he's sending in all these soldiers to go into the upside down and to, secure the space better and make sure that they can continue to travel there. And what we realize is that Will Byers has been feeding information to the shadow monster, and Owens' entire team is killed. Okay. Now I got a little ahead of myself there, and so we're going to back up just a little bit. And also, at this point, the Owens team, actually the Hawkins team, is looking at all of the drawings that Will did, and then Joyce has time to actually begin to explain to Bob Newby and tell him the truth so that he's read in. But he is just shocked, right? Like, it's just, so shocking to him. And you realize at this point that even just 2 seasons in, these the core four, Mike Wheeler and Will Byers and Dustin Henderson and Lucas Sinclair, these guys, man, like this is very significant, right? And they've just been through a lot. Like it's really pretty incredible how much stuff they've been through. And so Bob Newby's, they're trying to bring him in. So this, at this point in episode 6, it's really spinning up, and you're getting to a point where the Shadow Monster and Will Byers' connection is clear. The Upside Down still is out of control. Like the government keeps thinking that they're going to be able to control this space, that they're going to be able to learn and experiment, but it's growing too fast. They're losing men, and the entire season is just kind of ramping up. And at the same time, Nancy and Jonathan are really becoming a strong team together. And then also Nancy is just refusing to give in, is refusing to behave, right? Which is definitely her character, that, she is one of the pluckiest fighters of all the group. And that's it. That's all of seasons. That's all of Stranger Things season 2, episode 6, The Spy. And we'll pick it up later. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion, nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and have a fetch millennium.